All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Okay, guys, so Bitcoin did exactly what we thought it would do this weekend and pretty much did nothing, just played around within our mini range here. We did see a little bit of a front run of our golden pocket again. I was looking for a move to come down to this golden pocket, primarily before coming up to our 114K or 113.5K, 113.8K golden pocket. We did front run the golden pocket and we're just pushing up towards the value area high of our mini range. This range here is kind of our bottoming range. Since we've hit our macro support level down here in our green box, we were looking for a bit of a relief rally on Bitcoin over the next week or 2 weeks. Now, we are continuing with bullish market structure, making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and we're still working to see whether we're going to create that higher high into that 114K golden pocket, 113.8K golden pocket. But we're just chopping around within our base range, our bottoming range. And this is often the ranges that form near more macro support levels. Like I talked about in the live stream last Thursday and last Friday, the bigger players in the market will little bit of time develop and get some more clarity on whether there's going to be a bottom here. So a range to form valid support and starting to break market structure bullishly on local timeframes, which it is. And so now we saw a move up today and yesterday, pushing up today to that anchored VWAP again and to the value area high of our bottoming range, our little mini range that goes back just about a week to last Monday. And what is key here, what is happening here could be very, very key for Bitcoin for the next coming week. Because if we do reject from this anchored VWAP a second time, remember we rejected last week from the anchored VWAP, and this anchored VWAP is an important anchored VWAP because it's the anchored VWAP from the all-time highs. It's the volume weighted average price from the all-time high. And if this downtrend, if this correction overall since the all-time high is going to continue, then a level that we often will reject from is the anchored VWAP. And we rejected earlier on the week from the anchored VWAP. We saw a bit of a dump to the downside, Friday, Saturday, recovery Sunday, and today pushing up to that anchored VWAP, pushing up to the value area high of our mini range. But we are seeing a bit of resistance here. We are seeing a struggle here. And if I go ahead and hide this mini range for a second, you guys can see that we're squeezing between two anchored VWAPs right now. We're on the 4 hour time frame. So let's zoom in onto the 15-minute time frame. And you can see that for a majority of the day, not a majority of the day, but for half of the day, Bitcoin has been squeezing between the anchored VWAP from the all-time high, and this anchored VWAP is the anchored VWAP from our previous all-time high back in June, I think it was, or May. Let's see here. Let's go back on the charts. That was from our all-time high back in May, late May. And so Bitcoin is gearing up for a bigger move. If this squeeze continues between these two, we are going to see a move, a pretty aggressive move out of this. Now, we have to watch for the fake out of a push up above this anchored VWAP right into our golden pocket where our internal liquidity from last week is and our liquidity from before the week before is, seeing the SFP of the semi-equal highs into that golden pocket. And then if we dump back inside our volume profile, that will trigger a short position for me. And I will be looking for shorts to bring down to at least our local golden pocket, which we would have to repull this golden pocket because we would be making a new high. But if we do something like this, reject from that area, then we could be looking to come down to that general golden pocket area to see whether the bigger shift in market structure is going to confirm with a higher low here. Now, if we do reject from where we're at right now, we start to lose this anchored VWAP from late May. It's also the value area high of our mini range, the past week's long range. Then I do think we will see a move down to the value area low. Yes, we probably will see a small bounce and some chop around the point of control, but we will probably see a move down to that golden pocket that was front run last Friday. And we will come to this golden pocket to this value area low, which by the time that this chop continues, this 618 of the Fibonacci channel could be in very close alignment with our golden pocket, with our value area low of our bottoming range. And we just could continue to keep forming this bottoming range. last week in the live stream, I did talk about how I would not be surprised if this range goes on for another week to 2 weeks, this bottoming range, which often happens at bigger support levels. So, a little bit of boring price action for Bitcoin in the crypto market. Now, I want to talk about this 109K area of support because if we do come in on our liquidation heat maps here, and we're looking at an aggregated heat map of pretty much all the major exchanges, and we're looking at the last 1 week of price action, you can see that the majority of the liquidity is resting down right into that 109K area of support, being the golden pocket and the value area low. So if we do reject from where we're at, I expect to move down to that 109K area to grab that local liquidity below us, and then maybe we could continue overall with bullish market structure, working our way up to 114K, where then we would see a real test whether Bitcoin is going to just grab liquidity and continue to roll over down to 105, or if we are going to break market structure bullishly and start to break up to that 118K area of resistance. Really not too much else to talk about, guys. I mean, if we go onto our order flow here, very, very locally from September 6th, which was 2 days ago, over the weekend, that bottoming we saw on Saturday, you can see we are seeing now some bullish CVD absorption on the charts. And this is not the cleanest bullish CVD absorption, but it is textbook bullish CVD absorption. We are making higher lows in the price action here. We are making lower lows overall in the CVD from that low on September 6th. And if you look at our open interest, we've had a pretty steady increase in open interest up until just recently, up until about halfway through today. We've been seeing that steady increase in open interest, showing some bullish CVD absorption on the charts, on the 15-minute chart. Now, if we zoom out even a little more and we talk about that bullish CVD absorption we were seeing last week build all week long, it is really kind of getting invalidated now, in my opinion, because if we look at the larger low down from September 1st, or even let's go to September, yeah, still September 1st, but this low here, we are making higher lows in the price action and we are making lower lows in the CVD, but you can see our open interest is pretty much flat here. From this area, our open interest is pretty flat. And it is bullish CVD divergence, but it's not really absorption, and it's not a clean absorption that we would like to see as far as the bigger chart, the more wider time frames go. So locally, yes, we are seeing bullish CVD absorption. It looks pretty good. This bullish CVD absorption, if we can hold this anchored VWAP, I do think we are going to get that immediate squeeze up to 114, 113.8, let's say, to be more precise. But if we start to lose this, I think that we are going to visit that 109K area of support. Really, it's 109.6 down to about 109.4. And the liquidity, if we go back to our liquidity heat map, you can see we would take all of it about 109K. So we might see a wick a little bit past that golden pocket to 109K to grab that local liquidity, to grab all of it. But that's about it for Bitcoin. We are starting to squeeze in here. And actually, if I go onto my VWAP bands here, you can see with these VWAP bands, when they start to squeeze together like this, when they start to really, really squeeze together, we will see them squeeze and then a big move that follows, relative big move compared to the price action locally. And now they are starting to squeeze again soon. So this is why I'm expecting a relatively big move to either squeeze up to that 113.8 or to push down to 109.4, 109 in the next day or two, really based off of this movement that we're seeing. But that's still really just trading within our bottoming range here. Still just trading within our bottoming range. That is honestly about it for Bitcoin, guys. Just being patient here, waiting for my levels to get hit. I have not taken any trades on Bitcoin. I did not short this earlier today. I was looking to come a little bit higher to wick out those double highs. Actually, if we turn on our wicks here, we have our high from August 28th, last Thursday, or 2 Thursdays ago. And then you can see from last Friday, the lower high that's pretty much a semi-equal high there. And I was looking to come above, grab the liquidity from those two into that golden pocket to trigger a short. So I am not short right now. I am not long right now. I'm just waiting for my key levels to be hit, being patient with Bitcoin, and kind of just sitting on my hands. Now let's go on to Ethereum. With Ethereum, we are starting to see some really nice bottoming formation here. First of all, we have our bigger range that kind of goes back to the top of the pitchfork. If you guys remember the stream from Thursday and Friday, we talked about this bigger pitchfork top. Let's just zoom out onto the daily real quick. On the daily time frame, we are at the top of a macro pitchfork, which we would expect to find some resistance on. You can see we chopped around in the lower band for a couple weeks, busted up above the midline, chopped around above the midline for like a month and a half. We saw that flash crash down to our local golden pocket and our anchored VWAP, which showed that Ethereum wanted to maintain strength, maintain bull strength by bouncing from this anchored VWAP. This is what we're going to be looking for if Bitcoin comes down to 105K, by the way. And after bouncing from that anchor VWAP, we were able to break up above the upper pitchfork band, backtest that upper pitchfork band, and make our way to the top of the pitchfork. Now, at the top of this pitchfork, we oftentimes will see distribution patterns, or whether you want to call it a head and shoulders or a distribution type pattern, a topping reversal pattern is what we're looking for to see if we can come dump down and then come down to that 35.30 level, 35.30 to about 34.89. And so Ethereum is just playing within this range here on the daily time frame. We've been in this range since about August 10th, so almost going on a month now. We've been in this upper range, and this is what we would expect to see at macro resistance. We also grabbed the liquidity from the all-time highs, made a new all-time high just barely, but now we could see that momentum continue to the downside. We do have those bearish divs on the daily time frame still playing out. 3 higher highs in the price action, 3 lower highs in the momentum waves, and your money flow is just continuing to drain out of the asset. If we look at NAMI, same thing on NAMI, the triple drive of bear divs and money flow bear divs as well, giving us this little bit of a bias that we were going to see a bigger correction. We also have to remember, if we're looking at the Elliott wave structure, we are looking for a 1, 2, our 3 to be done, possible pullback in a wave 4 to our 0.5 or to our 382 levels before making that one last push up to truly break up into new all-time highs. So on more macro timeframes, I am still bullish on Ethereum to continue up to new all-time highs. But in the next couple of weeks, or maybe even another month, we might see sideways and down price action, with very, very locally a push up. So very, very locally, I know this is getting confusing, but on low time frames, we are forming this bottoming range here on Ethereum. Now, this goes back to really last Friday, and you can see we've been same about with Bitcoin, a week-long bottoming range that Bitcoin is forming, Ethereum is forming that bottoming range. We did bounce from the value area low on Saturday. We took the liquidity of Friday's lows, bounced from the value area low, and then we did a decent push up today on Ethereum. But once again here, pushing up, front running the value area high of the range in confluence with that golden pocket, the very local golden pocket pulled from the last big 4-hour high to our low. We front ran that golden pocket once again, and we are chopping around the POC of the range. Now, if we do lose this POC, let me just readjust this and make sure this is perfect. If we do lose this POC, then I expect us to come down really to take out our 4,200 liquidity. You can see these equal lows here with a semi-equal low here. A lot of liquidity resting below that area of 4,200. Now that we've taken out the very, very local liquidity from last week, I do believe if we lose this POC, we are probably going to come down first to grab that 4,200 liquidity and maybe continue dumping down, continuing this bearish price action of lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Now we should see another lower low come in overall, maybe a bit of a range here. If we can hold this POC, which I am a little bit not scared, I'm hopeful that we are going to hold this POC, just chop around this POC for a bit. We can make that push up to finally hit that 4,400 golden pocket. Now, I am long on Ethereum, as I talked about in the Telegram earlier today, long from in this area here, and I am looking to hold my first TP up to that 4,400 level. 33.93 to about 4,400 is where my first TP will be. And if we can break above 4,400, flip this value area low, value area high into support, then I believe we will make a move up to take the semi-equal highs up here around 4,500. That is kind of what I'm looking at for Ethereum. I'm just playing Ethereum locally right now. That long that I opened earlier on the weekend was a scalp long position, and I am going to take profits, play this as a scalp by taking at least 50% profit when we hit this 4,400 area. And then I will probably take another 35-40% if we get up to 4,500, and just look for this bigger range to form here as well on Ethereum, with overall making that topping structure that I talked about at the beginning of the Ethereum analysis, where we could look at a potential head and shoulders here, even coming up to 46.26, where the value area high of our bigger range is in confluence with the top of that pitchfork again. And if we do reject from this general area, then that could signal that we are forming that topping reversal pattern. And over the next month or so, we are going to see that bigger breakdown to about 3,700 or about 3,500. Honestly, it's been boring for the crypto market. You can see very low volatility chop here. And these are the times where we just be patient. We be patient. We wait for levels to be hit. I understand it can be frustrating when you don't or not in a position and you're waiting. It seems like a week to get even a scalp trade. But you know, over trading is what can cause you to get wrecked sometimes. So just be aware of that. If we pull our Fibonacci from the all-time high, the new all-time high that was just made, down to these range lows from September 1st, you can see that our golden pocket is resting a little bit above the value area high of the range. So one thing that I do want you guys to be aware of, and we have this internal liquidity resting here as well. Let's mark that out real quick. We do need to be aware of a little bit of a fake out. If we can break above, of course, 4,400, flip it to support, break above 4,500 and not see an SFP, but continue pushing higher up to the value area high in the top of the pitchfork, we could just see a real quick wick, maybe an hour to 4 hours, pushing into that golden pocket, grabbing that liquidity, and then losing that pitchfork. That would really trigger losing the pitchfork, and losing the value area high of the range would trigger a short for me. And I would be looking to short the breakdown of, really, I'd be looking to short the SFP, the confirmed SFP, but especially if we break back inside the volume profile of this larger month-long volume profile, then I would be looking for that topping reversal pattern, where I would be looking to take this short trade all the way down potentially to 3,700 or 3,500, all the way down. And so we will look at this. If that comes to us, we will be aware of that. We'll be looking at that. But for now, just trading this local range for Ethereum, looking at the 4,200 lows, looking at the 4,400 highs, and then also 4,500. That is honestly about it for Ethereum. It's just been slow and boring as well. On to Solana. Now, Solana is making a nice push up today, guys. And we did see with Solana, we held, now I posted about this in the Telegram over the weekend. I think it was Sunday evening. We were coming down to that golden pocket again. And if we take that golden pocket real quick from the lows of last Monday, September 1st, to the highs we made on Wednesday, September 3rd, I guess it would help to actually use the tool. You can see this golden pocket. We did long this touch of the golden pocket here, and we took it up. We got a TP1 at 208.8, and then we got stopped out on the rest, or I should say posting about this in the Telegram. That's why I'm saying we. But after that, we came down to the value area low again, and I did re-enter the trade after coming down to the value area low and then reclaiming it, but I am still long from about 201. So I waited until we could kind of get up to that 201 area, entered long again, and we're pushing up, breaking above the value area high of our range that lasts about a week as well, the same mini range, but this is an upper range, not a bottoming range, unlike Ethereum and Bitcoin. And I'm looking, and the reason why I'm biased locally on Solana to go long is because just above us, we have that macro golden pocket at 218 to 225. And I really do think we got very close to hitting it a couple weeks ago on the 28th of August. And I don't think we are going to get that close to it without finally coming up, grabbing the liquidity from those highs into that golden pocket. So I am looking for this to kind of continue pushing up here locally. Right now, we are above the value area high of the range. If we lose, if we start to break down, you can see actually right now we are trying to break down below the pitchfork band because we did break into this pitchfork band earlier. But if we start to break down below the value area high, then we could call this some sort of double top here where we are probably going to see a big rotation down to grab the range lows at about 194, potentially coming down to about 191 or 192. My bias though is that we are going to come down, back test this value area high at 212 or like really 213, and then we are going to continue pushing up to 218. And the top of the pitchfork is about 220 to 221. So that's where I'd be looking for now Solana to get a bigger rejection if we do reject from that golden pocket. And the reason why is because we are seeing that. Let me get rid of this real quick. We are seeing that kind of really crappy rising wedge structure in here. That if we continue forming this rising wedge up into that golden pocket with bear divs on the chart, we could see that bigger drop to break this wedge to the downside. As far as our, let's zoom out to the 4-hour chart here. As far as our oscillators look, we did print a hidden bear div on Sunday yesterday, but that hidden bear div just gave us a little push up and then really was invalidated. Money flow actually looks pretty good on Solana. 4-hour, it's about to cross over into the green on Market Cipher B, and then you can see on NAMI, which is a bit faster, it's crossed into the green and it looks really healthy on NAMI, continuing to push up, and that's why my bias is to at least come up to that 218.6. That is going to be my take profit on Solana, at least 75% of the take profit. If we zoom out onto the daily chart, on the daily chart, we are forming the bear divs from the last major daily high on July 22nd. You can see we actually have all these higher highs coming in here, and we have lower highs on the momentum waves with a bit of even local bearish divs here. And you can see NAMI's also printing those bear divs. Money flow is kind of flat though, and actually it looks pretty decent for me on Market Cipher B, and then on NAMI you can see money flow is now crossed over back into the green on the daily with the last 2 days of green candles, really giving me the bias in expecting that push up to 218 to 218.6 to 225. That's about it for Solana though. I mean, other than that, we're still in our week long range. Just like many of these coins are forming ranges that are about a week long. For Solana, it's an upper range rather than a bottoming range. It's a topping range, I should say, and looking to just come a little bit higher. Okay, on to Sui. Sui is breaking some key highs today. I do like the way Sui is moving. We are attempting now at this anchored VWAP here. We found this bottoming formation, and I talked about this on the live stream on Friday. But left shoulder, head, right shoulder, or Model 2 accumulation in here. We're seeing that accumulation break to the upside, and we are breaking above the point of control of our bigger range. Let's zoom out here onto the 8-hour chart. And this range goes back to July 10th, so about 2 months, a 2-month long range. It's all the price action within this descending channel, this big pink descending channel. And we're attempting to break above the value area high of the range, or not the value, excuse me, the POC of our macro range that goes back to March of 2024 or November of 2024. If we can break above this POC, we have to watch for one thing in general. We have to watch for a fake out to grab the local liquidity at 353, let's say. It's at 352.99, but it's 353. If we grab that local liquidity and then start to lose that POC again, it's going to look really bad for Sui, and I think we are going to get that move down to 295, where we have our golden pocket in confluence with that naked daily point of control. But if we can break above this macro POC and not see a liquidity grab, not see a local liquidity grab, then I do think we are going to move to the top of the channel, which is about 376, and potentially even much, much higher here. If we pull a Fibonacci from our last significant high to our lows, Okay, not this golden pocket. It must from the second pivot of the channel. So if we go from the second pivot of the channel to our lows, you can see that golden pocket coming in between 377 and 380 is where the top of our descending channel is. And if this larger correction in this descending channel is going to continue, then that golden pocket there is an area where we might get that rejection for a short down to 295 if we break above the POC. So locally on SUI, I am watching right now for a break above, up a little bit higher to 353. If we do grab the liquidity, see a successful liquidity grab, which remember, guys, means a pierce above the level and then a candle body, the candle to now dip back below the level and close below the level. That would trigger a swing failure pattern short in my eyes, and we could look for really losing that POC and continuing to push down to our golden pocket. One thing that I will warn about with this swing failure pattern, because our value area low of our local range that's 2 months long and our point of control of our macro range that is almost 2 years long or a year long, year and a half long, if we break above that, grab that liquidity, we have to watch for this holding now as support and continuing higher. So it could be a fake. This is where it gets really complicated here because it could be a fake SFP just to hold that support now and flip it to support to continue up to 380. I will still, if we do confirm a swing failure pattern, I will attempt the short. I'm just saying that. And actually what we can do is we can set that alert right now. Only if the SFP is confirmed. Zooming out onto the 4-hour chart, money flow does look pretty good. We've crossed into the green on both NAMI and Market Cipher B, and we do not have local bear divs. If we look at our 2-hour chart here, no 2-hour bear divs either. I'm expecting at least that push up to 353. 1-hour chart, no bear divs, but we could be forming no bear divs confirmed yet. But it does look like, especially on NAMI here, you can see in the last 2 days of price action, these higher highs on the price action, we are forming lower highs on the momentum waves and lower highs on money flow here. So that could signal that this SFP short is going to work out and play out. Now, locally on Market Cipher B, we do not have any bear divs quite confirmed yet. As we're pushing up right now with this hourly candle, we could be confirming some bear divs, but I would not even attempt a short right now until we take out 353 and see a swing failure pattern of it. On higher time frames, zooming out to the 12-hour chart, I do still think that SUI is going to continue ranging within this bigger range here, possibly coming down to 295. That's what I would really like to see because that could be a great swing long opportunity if we are looking at our larger bullish scenario playing out of a larger wave one. We had our wave two. We have our internal wave one. If we pull back to that golden pocket, it could be our internal wave two before seeing the big explosion in a wave three to uh, start this double 1-2 impulse on the daily time frame, which would take weeks to months to play out. Okay, that is it for SUI. Now on to Say. Say here is interesting as well. Let's go on to the 2-hour chart here. Say is chopping within this ascending channel very, very locally from our lows that we bottomed out on Monday, last Monday, September 1st. That was a holiday low, a holiday, yeah, weekend low. I'm considering that a weekend low because it was a holiday. But we have broken above our local highs, our local market structure, breaking local market structure bullishly now on the like intermediate time frames, and we are maintaining above that high at 30.96. So for me, Say is looking a little bit more bullish than some of the other coins. We are at the top of that ascending channel, and we are finding resistance at the top of that ascending channel. Also, we do have our pitchfork band that is just above us at about 31.88 or 31.9, let's say, 0.319. Now, if we come up to that pitchfork band and see a rejection from that pitchfork band. You can see the last time we came up and we rejected from that pitchfork band, it was pretty harsh. If we reject from it again, I do think we can look for a move back down at least to the POC, if not to the value area low of our local range. That goes back until June 24th, so a couple months here. Overall, of this 2 month range, we held the value area low. You can see this really nice rounded bottom at the value area low of our 2 month range. And like I talked about in the live stream, let's just go ahead and hide this channel for a second here to make this cleaner. We have been ranging between the pitchfork midline and the upper band of the pitchfork. So with us rejecting multiple times from the top of the upper band and then from the bottom of the upper band of the pitchfork, if we come up for a higher time frame back test and reject, I do expect us to continue pushing down overall in this range and maybe taking out the liquidity from the beginning of August at 26.27. If we break back inside of this pitchfork band, we're going to move up to value area high. So once again, volume profile trading, we bounce from the value area low. We have reclaimed the POC. So overall, it is more likely, at least at the moment, it is more likely that we do make a move up to our purple box of resistance, being the value area high of our range in confluence with our 786 Fibonacci retrace of this entire move down, in confluence with the upper pitchfork, the top of the pitchfork band again, where the last couple times we've hit into it, we've seen harsh rejections. And we could just continue to trade this larger range in here for a bit longer. As far as the oscillators go, money flow is looking pretty good on the 4 hour, on the 2 hour time frame. Money flows going up on Market Cipher B. Now, locally on NAMI, we did confirm the bear divs earlier today. With that push up earlier today, bear divs confirmed, and money flow is draining out of the asset here. But overall, if we zoom out onto the 4 hour, money flow is in the green on Market Cipher B, and on NAMI, money flow, let me get you zoomed in here a bit on NAMI so you can see this. It is still looking pretty good, rising on the 4 hour. So I would expect to at least come a little bit higher for say to actually hit the pitchfork band. On the daily time frame, this is where things can get a bit concerning and why I think this range might last a little bit longer. Because if we look at this range, this is a squeezing pattern here. First of all, you could look at this as some sort of symmetrical triangle that is forming in here, where this triangle could continue for another couple of weeks. But if we look why this might continue, is because our money flow on the daily time frame has been still exiting out of the asset, even though we are seeing a bit of a push up over the past couple of days. The money flow on the daily time frame is exiting out, and we do not have bull divs on the daily confirmed. And then on NAMI, which is faster, we do have the red dot that confirmed yesterday, and actually today, confirmed today, and our money flow looks to be topping out here on the daily. So a little bit higher locally, maybe a couple more hours of push up, hitting that pitchfork band, and then we might see, if we reject from that, a dump down, or even the top of the pitchfork band. I would not be surprised if we do continue, and then overall, this entire move that we're seeing so far does look more corrective to me. And on higher time frames, let's say on the weekly, on the daily, 2-day time frame, I do think that, say, has a high potential of pushing up to the top of the pitchfork. Right now, it's about 41 to 42 cents, and you can see we have a naked weekly point of control above us there and a daily level above us there with the liquidity from a few weeks ago. Okay, that's it for say. Let's go on to XRP. XRP is just chopping very, very nicely on the daily time frame within our descending channel. Now, we talked about this on the stream on Friday and actually Thursday's stream as well, but let's zoom into the 4-hour chart. XRP did front run our golden pocket that we were looking at on Friday's stream. We were looking at this golden pocket below us. Now this is going to be changed now because we've made new highs, but we did not quite come down to that golden pocket. But overall, we are bouncing from our green box of support that we laid out before we even came down here. We laid this out in the middle of August, and we're bouncing from that level of support. We've reclaimed the midline of the descending channel, and we are pushing up to the box of resistance that we marked out on Thursday and Friday streams. So what is this box of resistance above us that we have? Well, if we turn on our naked weekly points of control, you can see pretty much right at $3, $299.97. So $3, we have a naked weekly point of control. Naked daily point of control is pretty much in the same exact spot. But let's also turn on our naked monthly point of controls. At 301, we have a naked monthly point of control. So we have a lot of volume resistance in this area just above us. And really, you could say that we tapped it. On some exchanges, we did tap it. So we are at resistance. And if we do reject from this resistance, I expect this to come down pretty far. Let's get rid of this guy. And continue within this descending channel and this upper range. If we pull this sideways range of all the volume within this descending channel, you can see that the POC of that range is there as well. I mean, we have a lot of confluence up there. If we just look at this box, we have our naked monthly POC, naked weekly, naked daily, the POC of our month-long range, and a monthly level in that area. Turning on that monthly level as well at 302, which is the top of the box. So between $3 and 302 is where I'm looking for potential rejection on XRP. I still have not shorted this yet, and I will look to short this if we do reject from this area above. But you can see we haven't even touched the range POC yet or the naked weekly POC, which is really what I'm looking for that push up to. We did bounce from the value area low of the range. You can see we had a deviation. Let's turn off this larger range for a second. We had a deviation below the value area low. We got back above it. We back tested it to the exact cent, and now we're continuing up to the POC. So we have a very high likelihood now that we've back tested, we broke back inside the volume profile and bullishly back tested that value area low and bounced. We have a very high likelihood to come up to that $3 area, $3 to $3.02 area. We are pretty much there. And all the coins very locally over the past couple of hours have been seeing a pullback. But I expect this to continue. If we look at money flow's crossed over into the green on both NAMI and Market Cipher B. They are looking good. We have no bear divs on the chart. If we zoom into the hourly chart, on the hourly chart, no real bear divs on Market Cipher B. Money flow looked very, very healthy. It is starting to look toppy right now. And then on NAMI, we did have some slight bear divs here, even though it's not printing them. But that is a lower high in the momentum wave. And also our money flow is continuing to drain out of the asset. I would like to bounce from the VWAP where we're at right now and come up just a bit higher, just a cent or two higher, up to that 301, 302. Zooming out to the 8-hour chart, you can see money flow is rising nicely on about to cross into the green on Market Cipher B, and on NAMI it's already crossed into the green. Expect continuation all at least up to 301. If we can break above this 301 area, you can also see one thing here. This is near the top of our ascending channel. And if we can break above the point of control of our range that goes on for about a month, and we can break above that POC, then we could probably see a nice breakout. And I would be even looking for that breakout to push us all the way up to our purple box at 345, our box of resistance up here at 345. See, let's just extend this box. 345, where are... Okay, golden pocket's a little bit lower now that we've made new lows, but the liquidity of the pretty much the second pivot of the channel is into that purple box, and that's really what I'm going to be looking at. Anytime you break a descending channel like this, oftentimes you will come up and sweep the liquidity of at least the second pivot, if not the liquidity of all of it. But we have to be aware now that this golden pocket has shifted down towards the value area high. We have to watch for that break above the value area high into the golden pocket and see a rejection. If we lose that value area high after rejecting golden pocket, I will look for the short. So I won't short the golden pocket necessarily because we'd be breaking out of the value area high. But if we lost the value area high after rejecting from that golden pocket, then I would short. Obviously, my stop would be above that golden pocket, and I would be targeting probably the value area low again or around that range golden pocket. If we, you'd have to do another golden pocket pull from the lows to the highs. Yeah, it would be right around this area here. Still a very nice risk toward short scalp short opportunity. And we'll just see how this develops here with XRP. But I'm expecting continuation higher, at least locally, just a little bit higher here. And that's about it for XRP. If we can start to break out of this descending channel, because this does look far more corrective than impulses to the downside. This looks like very, very corrective price action after seeing, let's zoom out to the 6 hour, after seeing a very nice impulse, a parabolic impulse here, we have been correcting for a couple months. And now we could see that bigger push up. Remember, on XRP, this is the exact thing we were looking for. If you guys remember my streams from a couple months ago, let's actually go ahead and clean this up real quick. I'm going to hide this range. We're going to get rid of this. And if we remember, we'll zoom out onto the daily time frame. I talked about this when we rejected up here from the 1.618. So first off, we bounced from our macro 382 and we saw impulse. An impulse to the upside, broke market structure bullishly on the daily time frame. Then we came down to our golden pocket. If you pull Fibonacci from the lows of your initial impulse to the highs, you can see we came down to that golden pocket, wicked a little bit past it on the daily, but bounced from the golden pocket. And then we had our big push up in our wave 3. If we take our trend-based Fibonacci extinction, we go from the lows of 1 to the highs of 1 to the lows of 2, and we turn on our 1.618, but we have to take it off a log scale. We rejected pretty much right exactly at that 1.618. And if we're looking at this as a 5-wave impulse, 1, 2, 3, your wave 4, and then we could see that last push up in wave 5. Now, there is a problem with this. Of course, we did take it off log scale to get that 1.618. Generally, we are on the log chart, so you do want to leave that the log 1.618 target on. And if we do look at our ABC correction targets with it being on log scale, which is where we're at now, we did reject from that 1.236 area, which in an bigger 3-wave correction to the upside, you often will reject between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. So we did reject from that area. And in the bearish case scenario, we would want to start seeing an impulse down here. But we haven't seen it so far. It's been about a month and a half, and we're not seeing impulsive price action to the downside. That is giving me the bias that this is a unfinished impulse to the upside, that we are going to break out to new all-time highs here. Another reason why I do not think that this is going to be a 3-wave correction and then a dump right back down to the lows of the range. If we pull that volume profile of that large range, so let's just go ahead and turn on that large range, you can see after breaking above in this wave 3, in this big parabolic push up a couple months ago, we broke above the value area high of the range, and we have come back a couple times to back test it. And yes, we've seen some wickage down below it, but really we're holding it as support, and we're seeing a nice push up here. So anytime you break out of a large volume profile like this in a healthy market, you will come back to back test what used to be considered resistance or overvalued now as undervalued or support to continue breaking up to new highs. And so more macro timeframes, I am looking for XRP to make new all-time highs, but the question is this corrective move over yet? If we look at, let's get this off the chart now, and if we look at a 3-wave corrective move to the downside from the high, we can pull our trend-based Fibonacci targets, and you can see that we have not hit our 1-to-1 to our 1.236 yet. So we could be seeing a bigger A, B, push down in a C to about that 251 or even to about 234, where the bottom of the channel and your POC of your macro range would be. bouncing from that, and then you'd want to see that big breakout. Now, if we pull a Fibonacci from the lows to the highs of this last push up, the one problem with that is if we do come down to that one-to-one target, we would be hitting the golden pocket. Now, that's nice confluence there. That's right on top of each other. But anytime you're in a wave 4 correction, if you come down to that golden pocket pulled from the lows of 3 to the highs of 3, that invalidates the impulse. But let's talk about the most bullish scenario that we can think of here on the charts for XRP. This low was bounced from a macro 382, log 382. The second we bounced from that, I expected new all-time highs. The second we got a super good reaction from it, I should say within the next day or two, I expected new all-time highs. We got new all-time highs. But what if this is just a wave 1 up here, a wave 2, now we are in another wave 1, and then if we do come down to that golden pocket at 253 or 252, that could be another wave 2, an internal wave 1 and 2, and then you would get your big explosion in a wave 3, and then you could end with a 4-5, 4-5, similar to what we're looking at on SUI, guys, a large double 1-2 impulse on the weekly time frame to end the bull market. And so that is, if we do come down to that golden pocket and you still want to have bullish sentiment, that would be really the only thing I'd be looking at as hope for that. Really, I don't think that's the highest probability scenario, but I did want to just show it to you guys to let you know that if we do come down to that golden pocket at 252, that doesn't mean that all hope is lost. It just means that we really want to see that bounce from that 252 golden pocket and a strong impulse out of that, like a very strong impulse out of that. That's it for XRP. Lastly, let's go on to Chainlink. Chainlink, guys, is just let's stay on the daily time frame. So we did have the bear divs on the daily time frame here. Money flow has been consistently draining out for a couple weeks now. And on NAMI, we had multiple drives of bear div, but we also had that key money flow bear div that is really key. When you see that on NAMI, that is a very big sign for me, a big warning sign that we could see a reversal. We didn't quite come up to the upper pitchfork band, and I still think that this upper pitchfork band between like 33 and 35 is a very good level. We would be taking out the highs of our last big daily highs, but we are below the pitchfork midline, and if we zoom in here, let's just zoom in onto the 4-hour chart. We rejected after losing the pitchfork midline, which is this red ascending line here. We lost the pitchfork midline. We bearishly backtested it, rejected, then we came down and made new lows. And we didn't even take out local liquidity. We didn't break market structure. So in other words, market structure is still bearish here from the highs. We have our lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So this could be another lower high here. And we could come up to the pitchfork midline again, reject from that midline, which would be about 23.7. And if we reject from 23.7, we could come down lower low, continuing this bearish market structure. And we really have a range that we're looking at. It's this upper range in here, this guy right here. So what we can do is we can pull that volume profile, which I believe, let's get rid of that. Let's bring out our volume profiles. We have on the charts here, this is our volume profile. And actually, I'm looking at it in two ways. We were looking at this on the stream in two ways. Pretty much all the price action when we broke above the pitchfork midline. Yes, the deviation's below it, but this is the first break above the pitchfork midline. And you can see that we are now reclaiming the value area low of that range, and we are back inside the volume profile here on the 4-hour chart, trying to get above the POC. But if we take this same volume profile, we pull it back just a little bit further, the same value area low and the same POC. The only thing that shifts is our value area high shifts up a bit higher. So let's go ahead and back that back up. You can see that if we back it back up, that value area low shifts to the top of our box, our purple box. Now, I like this volume profile better with this box of resistance above us at 25.8. This is the key area of resistance that I'm really looking at. If we can break back above the POC of this range, and really I want to break above the pitchfork midline. If we can break above this pitchfork midline, I expect to move up to the top of this purple box where we do have some very nice internal liquidity sitting at $26 with the value area high of our range and our golden pocket. And that golden pocket is going to be pulled from the highs to the lows of our correction. Let me just make sure that's on there. Okay, it's shifted down just a little bit with the new low that was made on Saturday, but it's pretty much in the same exact area there. If we do reject from this pitchfork band midline at 23.7, 23.8, then I expect us to continue pushing down to grab the lows of this sideways range into our macro value area low. That's what this guy is right here. This is our macro volume profile that goes back 2 years to 2023. Let's zoom out onto the daily. It goes all the way back to November of 2023. You can see we broke above that volume profile. And in a healthy market, like I explained earlier in the video, oftentimes you will come back and you will back test that value area high to confirm what used to be resistance now is support and continue pushing up in the bull market, in the bullish market structure, making higher highs and higher lows. So there is a potential that we could come down to 20.8 to about 20.6, where the value area high is resting at 20.63. And that would grab the lows of our month-long range, take out the liquidity of the lows of the month-long range into a macro support level, where in that general area, I will be looking for a swing long opportunity on Chainlink. If we can come down there and hold this level of support, I will be looking for a swing long opportunity. Let's just do this. So locally, just I'm not trading Chainlink right now. It's kind of a mess what we're seeing, and I will say that this so far this push to the downside, even though bearish market structure is still intact, making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and maybe continuing lower highs and lower lows. If we do come down to that area, because this looks corrective so far, this does not look impulsive in here. Because it looks corrective, I will be looking for a really nice swing long opportunity to push this baby up to $35 at the top of the pitchfork band, our purple box above us, with some resistances along the way. Of course, we will have some resistances along the way, creating some scalp short opportunities and pullback opportunities to compound your long trade. But that's about it for Chainlink. That's about it for the video. If you guys got anything out of this video, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. We do have a couple partners of the channel. The main partner of the channel is BYDFI. If you do sign up with BYDFI using my affiliate link, you can get if you deposit just $100, you'll get a 50% deposit bonus. They've also partnered with me to create a Telegram community where you can get access to my trade setups and some of my market analysis. So if you're interested, they offer 20% discounts on trading fees, up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much you trade. No VPN, no KYC required for this exchange. If you want to sign up to the Telegram, sign up with the affiliate link, deposit $100. You'll get $50 bonus. It's the $100 is still yours to trade with. And then you can go into the link in the description and click on the Telegram, type in /verify, and then your user ID, which is this number here. It'll get you access to be in that Telegram where you can join me in the trades that we look at, in the analysis that we look at. The other partners of the channel are NAMI. NAMI is a momentum and money flow indicator that I use for entry and exit confirmations on my trades. They're offering a 50% discount for a limited time. Divine50 is the discount code. The link and the discount code are in the description if you're interested in purchasing NAMI. And then lastly, we do have MEXC and Bybit, which are also offering futures bonuses and discounts on trading fees if you use my affiliate link to sign up. Thank you guys for your support. I will be streaming tomorrow at, actually, let me rephrase that. Tomorrow I will not be streaming. I am going to be streaming Wednesday and Thursday this week. So tomorrow will be another video, same time as today. And then on Wednesday, my normal time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, I will be streaming for you guys. Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, I will be streaming for you. And Friday, I will be streaming 3 p.m. Eastern time. Have a good one, and I will see you tomorrow.